Hi folks, Mike here again. This is video number 3 in a series of 3 on roundabouts. This one deals with mini roundabouts. This type have a couple of particular points that often catch people out and also influence how you should plan your use of them. First off, let's have a look at what the highway code has to say. Approach these in the same way as normal roundabouts. All vehicles must pass round the central markings, except large vehicles which are physically incapable of doing so. You'll notice the use of the word must. This means that this is not just good advice from the highway code, but is also a legal requirement backed up by the road traffic laws. So on a motorcycle, that means we need to go around and not over the top. Now other road users may not be expecting that, and I'll cover some of the points you need to consider at a mini roundabout because of this. Let's go and watch some footage of negotiating an empty roundabout. Just like a full-size roundabout, there's usually a white direction sign. Again, the thickness of the roads on the sign denotes major and minor roads through the junction, but does not imply any form of priority. At this mini roundabout we have 2 lanes, with left being a dedicated turning left. Added hazards here are the garage and mini supermarket entrances on the right. Here we can see the signs denoting this is a mini roundabout. There's the normal give-way lines, and sometimes there may be give-way signs to reinforce this requirement. This roundabout is offset a little to the left, though the wide-angle lens of the camera does a good job of hiding this. At this point we'll be scanning all the other incoming roads for vehicles. With mini roundabouts, vehicles approaching become much more of a planning point due to the limited distance actually on the roundabout. This time the roundabout is deserted, though I'm mindful of something appearing from my right, so I'll still need to control my approach speed ready to turn right. I'm now making the decision to ride straight on as there are no other vehicles, but this roundabout has a little gotcha that sometimes catches people out. Can you see it yet? There's one opposite too. We now need to decide our line through the junction. The highway code said we must go round the central marking, so I'm going to follow this path. You'll notice when the video resumes that this involves moving slightly to the left first, and we need to be careful that other vehicles don't take that as a sign we are going to take the straight ahead path. While I'm taking the white path on the screen, a lot of vehicles will follow the path over the roundabout, and sadly it is becoming more common for some vehicles to take the red path and miss the roundabout out altogether. We'll talk about that later. Now we fully see the gotcha, another zebra crossing. This means at busier times it may not be possible to exit fully due to vehicles stopped at the crossing. Here we have someone just by the crossing, but they are walking past. As we come off the roundabout we need to consider our indicators, and given the short distance to travel, it may be that all we can do is just cancel them. By the time you've indicated to exit, you will be off the roundabout and no one would have a chance to see a single flash. At other mini roundabout layouts it may be beneficial to signal. You need to consider and decide. The key thing is not to confuse others. Let's watch that again with no interruptions. This time we'll approach with plenty of other traffic. Here, all 3 other roads have entering vehicles, and I'm about to arrive at my give-way line. This brings us to another unique point with mini roundabouts, Stalemate. Stalemate is where all the entrances to the mini roundabout have a vehicle waiting to enter, and they have all decided to become very British. After you, sir. No, no, after you. Someone needs to make a decision to start things moving again. You may start to move and someone else does as well. There's no right or wrong to this, just exercise extreme caution. In fact, the vehicle coming from right is indicating left and is going to turn towards me, and the vehicle to my left is also turning left to head away from me. Now I'm on the roundabout, my focus is on the vehicle entering from directly opposite. They are signalling right but have stopped at the give-way line. Look to see where the driver is looking, and remember that the little move left we talked about earlier may make them think that we're going straight. Watch their wheels for any sign of movement and be ready to brake, accelerate or use the horn. You also need to think about vehicles behind you taking the more direct lines we mentioned earlier, so good mirror work and a shoulder check may be needed in different circumstances. This time we will approach from the opposite direction. At this point we can see vehicles approaching from the left and also directly opposite. There's a vehicle exiting in our direction, but we can't see very well into the right-hand road. Now we have a better view to the right. The traffic ahead is held by a pedestrian. At other times we need to think about those vehicles coming from ahead that may cut directly across to our left. The vehicle from the left should give way to us, but you'll see me treating it with caution and having a good look at the driver and checking if there may be any cyclists nipping out from behind it. Let's watch it again with no pausing. This time we have another offset roundabout. I'm wanting to go to the right, or is that straight? At this point our view of the other two roads at the mini roundabout is blocked by other vehicles. That means that any vehicles approaching the roundabout can't see me either. Here I'm signalling right as again I'm going to steer a bit to the left and I have a following vehicle. If you watch in my mirror as the footage resumes, you'll see that it has taken the straighter line over the mini roundabout, thereby allowing it to maintain its speed. This is another reason for my signal, which is hopefully telling them not to try and nip past as I maintain a left bias to my approach. Finally, let's watch that with no interruptions. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this series useful. Please let me have some feedback in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Till next time, keep safe.